Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Bump Podcast, a place for the believers of the unexplained, monsters, and paranormal. Join us, and we'll go face to face with what goes bump in the night. All right, Dave, thank you so much, sir, for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. This is my second time, right?
Yes, absolutely. I think the first one was like a year ago, maybe a year and some change.
And remind me, when I had you on, were you a skeptic? Were you a flat earther? Where were we?
I was open-minded, leaning towards keeping my globe, man, keeping the ball.
Okay. And now?
And now I'll meet you halfway. I tell people now that I look at the Earth kind of like it's a bowl, you know, like there's.
Listen, stop putting around. The Earth is not a globe. You know, it's a level, horizontal, topographical plane. It's not spinning. You know this. Why are you afraid to say it?
I'm right there. Maybe I'll say by the time we get off here today. I don't know, man.
All right.
It is so hard to let go of, ain't it?
Tell me about your brother again.
Yeah. My brother-in-law had a few questions. We'll jump straight into that.
And what's his deal? What's up with your brother-in-law?
He is a very scientific-minded person. Like he goes by the science of today.
Science, not the word science, actual science, like flat earthers use, actual science.
He goes more down the stream of evolution, space exploration, all that. Yeah.
Oh boy, time for a new brother.
But yeah, he gave me a few questions, man. If you're ready for me to stump you right off the bat.
Yeah, let's go. Let me guess. Can I guess what the questions are going to be?
Sure.
If the sun's 3,000 miles away, how does it set? Because it would always be visible from everywhere on Earth. Is that one of them?
No, that's not one of them.
All right, go ahead.
All right.
I'm done, guys.
All right, his first one. Are other planets also flat?
First, the problem with that question is, what planets? What are you talking about? The ones that Disney and NASA show you? Like what planets? What planets have you seen? You see a light in the sky, and you think about it. Have you ever looked up and seen Jupiter in the sky? It's been up a lot lately.
I've seen a really, really bright light that looked like it said Jupiter.
And that's what they call Jupiter. So Jupiter is a gassy ball, right? We're told that it's made out of hydrogen and helium. Somehow it has more gravity than the rest of all the planets combined out of hydrogen and helium that defy gravity. But it's a dusty, dirty ball of gas, right?
Right.
So it has to reflect sunlight back to us for us to see it in the sky, right? That's what we're told.
Yeah.
So if you're on Jupiter and you're looking at the sun, is it bigger or smaller than we see it from Earth? Think about it. You know the answer.
Nah, I don't know.
Well, is Jupiter farther from the sun or closer to the sun?
It's further from the sun.
So then the sun would be smaller because it's farther away.
Right. Yep.
So you have to believe that a farther, smaller, distant, less bright sun is able to reflect off of the non-reflective surface of what they tell us Jupiter is, and then come back to us and look as bright as the sun.
Yep.
Does that make any sense to you?
No.
Because if you went outside on a sunny day and your brother was standing 10 feet away from you, your head should blind him. The sun reflecting off of your head.
Yeah.
Not saying they got a shiny head, not far behind you, but it would have to be brighter than Jupiter because you're closer to the sun. The sun is brighter on Earth.
Right.
So how is it coming back to us? So the question is, are all other planets round? What, that light in the sky that couldn't possibly be what they tell us it is? Is that what he's talking about? You know, what am I showing you here? What is this? Is this a bunch of chewed up bubble gum? Or is this what they tell us, NASA tells us, is the latest picture of Jupiter?
Yeah, I think that is.
Yeah, look at that. That is just a computer drawing. Here's another picture. Now Jupiter looks like this the next day. Right? They're just making up stuff. Oh, look, here's another picture of Jupiter. I mean, this has probably got all sorts of sexual crap built into it. Turn it upside down, blur your eyes. I don't know. I bet somebody can find something in there. But this is supposed to be Jupiter, right?
Yeah.
Right? Is this Saturn or Jupiter?
That's Jupiter, right?
You sure it's not a pond with ducks in it and grass?
Oh, nice.
So you'll see whatever you want to see. And here's, them building the model that they use. They literally built this model out of newspaper and paper mache and built this. And this is what everyone thinks Jupiter is. Right? This guy. This is Jupiter in one of their studios. Right. And then in 2014, this is the famous picture we got of Jupiter. Everyone knows it. 2016, they go, we caught the northern lights, so we know Jupiter has a magnetic core. Well, look at that. Look how stupid that is first. Just look how stupid that is. But look at these clouds. This cloud right here, this little wiggly line, it's still here. Yeah. Every line is still here. And that's over 2 years apart. Does that make any sense?
No.
Right? Here's another one. Jupiter again. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. So I'm trying to find so this is years ago. They showed us the Voyager coming to Mars. This is over, whether it's a couple of days, a couple of hours, or a couple of weeks, I don't care. Look at everything moving. These are the clouds that are moving in different directions. This is the storm that never goes away. That's like 10 times bigger than the Earth. But the clouds are changing over this short time period. But between those 2 years, all of the clouds repeated. What does that tell you? That tells you that NASA is 100% a cartoon, fake studio agency deceiving mankind. So what evidence does your brother have that there's planets out there other than well, now that we disqualified NASA, we can just go to Disney because they're the only other people that show us pictures of planets.
Well, he says that you can grab a telescope in your front yard and
let me tell you what he said. You can see it and you can see the moons. Nope. You can see a couple of lights that are around it. That's all you can say is that there are lights in the sky. You can go up and not see this. You can see a shape that kind of looks closer to this. But we took their picture, put it in Photoshop, cranked up the levels. And what do you see here? What is this? What are we seeing? Do you know what this is? No. We're seeing a composite image made in Photoshop. We can see the layers. We can see the cutouts.
Right.
All right. So this is not a real photograph. It is a fake photograph. Right? Yeah. So we don't have any pictures of Earth, but somehow we have a picture of Pluto from a spaceship that is going 60,000 miles an hour, whizzing by it, and catches this crystal clear, full shot of Pluto, which happens to have what they call a desert or whatever that looks like the dog Pluto. Both of these were made in the same year. Pluto the dog from Disney and Pluto the planet was named. I don't know. Is that just a coincidence? Maybe Pluto was a popular name that year, huh? Right?
Yeah.
Oh, they got another picture of Pluto. Look at that. Now, am I lying? Is that a picture of Pluto, or is that the guy Bob, whatever, the painting guy that paints? Bob Ross. Is that a Bob Ross palette, or is that a picture of Pluto? Which one is it? I could be tricking you, like I did with the ducks.
I would say that's supposed to be Pluto.
It is Pluto. That's supposedly. But look at how stupid. Look, you're very good. You're good. You are going to face a hard reality today, but a great reality, because once you understand that we're not on a spinning, wobbling space speck flying through an infinite, godless universe, life is better. You know, when you become a flat earther, you kind of get the cheat codes to the simulation that we're in, and you have an advantage over everybody else because you know what this place isn't. Oops, fading out here. There we go. What is this?
That is
Is that a cell under a microscope, or is that a planet under a telescope?
that's probably a planet under a telescope.
Very good. Venus. It's Venus.
That's Venus.
Yeah, it's Venus.
So are these round? Are they round?
Well, look up at the lights in your ceiling. What shape are they?
They look pretty round.
Well, what shape your floor?
Pretty flat.
They have to be round. The lights in the ceiling are round, right?
Right.
So the lights in the ceiling have what correlation to the shape of the floor?
None.
None. The balls on a pool table do not dictate the shape of the pool table.
Right.
Do I think that the moon that we see is spherical? Yeah, I do. I think it is. What does that prove? It proves nothing other than it's spherical. But it also, when you look at the moon, we know that it's not being lit by the sun, because when you have a single source light, the sun, lighting up a spherical object, there's a hot spot. And then it fades off to the end. But we're looking at the moon here. Kind of looks like it's generating its own light.
Right. And that was his next question, actually, is about the moon. That worked out just right. He asked, why does the shadow over the moon come in at an arc if the Earth isn't round?
What shadow? During an eclipse?
Like, yeah, during the phases of the moon, how it's like a crescent.
Yeah, well, I think the moon might be round. I think it might be spherical. I think that the sun, it's electricity. What do you mean the sun's electricity? The sun transmits electricity. You know how we collect it here on Earth with solar panels. They collect the electricity, they run it into a current, they run it into bigger and bigger wires, and there you go. You have your electricity. That's all it's capturing. That's why scientists don't know how solar panels work, because they think the sun's a burning ball sending photons, when in the truth is it's just sending electricity.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So is he? Why is he? He's asking about the curve of the light on the moon. He doesn't think it's because of the Earth, right? It's
so
because
he thinks it is that the Earth's in between the sun and the moon, and that's what's causing this shadow.
Yeah, well, he's wrong there. So he doesn't even know his own model. In his own helio-nonsensical BS model, the Earth has nothing to do with the phases of the moon. It has to do with the angle that the sun is hitting the ball. Like if you were a basketball 10 feet in front of you and there was a light behind you, you would see 50% of that ball, the lit side of that ball, facing you. Now, if that light was off to your side at 90 degrees, you would see half of that ball lit. The whole half, no, not half. You would see half of the front of the ball. So it's a quarter of the whole ball, but you would see half of it lit of the side that you're looking at. When you're looking at a ball, you only see half of the ball, and half of it would be lit if the sun was off to the side. You with me?
Yep.
But if the Earth is a ball, if the moon is a ball, it's actually lighting up the whole half of the ball. We just can't see the second half. And when the sun is on the other side of the moon, we don't see any moon because it's lighting up the back side of the moon. If the moon is a sphere, I don't know what the moon is.
Okay. Fair enough.
And neither do you, and neither does Carl Sagan, and neither does Neil deGrasse Tyson. Okay, none of them.
You mean nobody's been on the moon yet?
Come on, you're beyond that. Don't be silly.
I know. I can't help it.
Don't be silly. Don't be silly.
Right. He just got.
So hold on. Let's stay on the moon for a second. You see this crater right here, the Tycho crater. It's the one on the bottom. It has a little hard to see, but if you look at the full moon, you can see it with your naked eye.
Yep.
It's 40 miles wide, they tell us. Go on Google Earth and draw a circle on Google Earth. Just put a spot there, make it 40 miles wide, and zoom out as far as it'll let you, which I think is like 25,000 miles. And you can't see it. It's too small. It's too small. And the Earth the moon is 10 times farther than that. All right. So how can we see that? So what does that prove? It doesn't prove anything other than the crater is 1,000 times bigger than they tell us, or the moon is much closer than they tell us.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
everything that your brother believes, he doesn't really have any support on whatsoever. So what is going on here? Have you seen this? 4 moons. What shape is this one?
Looks round.
How big is it?
I don't know.
How big is it? Let me guess. It's the size of a ping pong ball, it's the size of a yoga ball, or it's the size of a bouncy house.
Well, how close am I to it?
I can't tell you that.
Okay, let's say ping pong ball.
The ping pong ball. Actually, it's the size of like an orange, but it's a half a ball. How about that one? Is this one same size?
Yep.
Is it farther away or is it smaller and closer?
I think it's the same size, same.
All right. And what shape is it?
That's round.
Round, like spherical?
Like,
or is it flat? Like flat.
Oh, like a flat piece of
Okay.
paper.
How about that one? Spherical?
Yep.
Is it?
Yeah.
Would you bet your life on it? Would you bet your life on it? It's a ball. Okay. So again, saying the size and shape of anything without knowing the distance or the size,
Right.
you're speaking through your rear end.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. All right, his next question. And then we'll get to the conversation here. I just wanted to hit you with these real quick. He asks, how do the solstices occur? Like summer and winter solstice. How do those exist if the earth isn't round?
Okay. Very, very easy. So here we have the flat earth. At the center of the clock, the sky clock, is the North Pole. So we put a magnet there, and the sun goes around. You see this outer yellow line that it's almost on right now? What's today's date? Like December 18th?
18th.
Right? So in a day or two, in 20th or 21st, it's going to be at its farther outest most reach, the solstice. It's going to be out there. And then for the next 6 months, it's going to start working its way back in. So let me, I'll jump a month at a time. So we're in December, January, February, March, April, May, and June. And June, it's all the way in here over the summer, our summer solstice, the Tropic of Capricorn, Cancer. And watch, it goes right over Florida, right over Miami. Right. In June, it's friggin' hot in Miami. You know why? Because the sun is close and it's high in the sky because it's close. Right? So that's our summer solstice. And then 6 months later, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it goes back out to the Tropic of Capricorn and it's summertime in Australia. You know why? Because the heat source, the sun, is close. Where do you live? What state?
West Virginia.
So the sun is lower in the sky. Why is that? Right now, in December. You know why?
Why?
When you're standing under a street light, it's high above your head, right?
Right.
What about the one that's 5 poles down the road? Is that high above your head, or does it look like it's at your eye level?
Yeah, it's more like eye level because it's further away.
But you really know it's the same height as the other one. You're on a level road.
Yeah.
But it looks lower in the sky, just like our sun looks lower in the sky. What if you know those heaters that they have at restaurants, right, hanging from the ceiling outside, you know, at like a outside bar or whatever?
Yeah.
So if that street light was a heater hanging over your head, you're like, it's pretty warm. But the one that's 2 light posts away, that's like at a 45-degree angle instead of directly above you, you can't feel the heat from that one. But if somebody was standing under that one, it would be their summertime. And then when it comes back to you, it's higher in the sky because it's closer due to perspective, and it's warmer because it's closer. The heat source is closer.
That works. That works for me.
It works for anybody willing to change their mind based on new information.
You ready for the last one of his questions?
I like his questions. Yours are going to be boring as fuck. Excuse my language.
No way, man.
All right. Bleep that out, all right? Because people get mad at me for swearing.
Oh, no, I'm not worried about that.
All right.
He wants to know, how how do they rotate if they're flat, or are they stationary?
What, the Earth?
The Earth and other planets.
Flat planets. Well, first, there are no rocks floating in space, right? There's not, that whole thing is just a myth. It's just a fairy tale. So the Earth is stationary. It does not move, and it doesn't rotate. The sun never goes below us, right? Here is a balloon at 127,000 feet, right? Look at the sun right there. How much higher is that sun than the balloon?
Yeah, it looks almost equal, equally.
I agree. Maybe it's a little higher, maybe because it's a little farther away,
Right.
Perspective, but maybe it's only another couple thousand, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, doesn't matter, feet higher, maybe. And is it local or far? Look at the light, how it's lighting up this area, but not this area. So is it a local light?
Yeah, it looks pretty localized.
Yeah. So that is just 20 miles up.
Yeah.
Right. Your brother is thinking this. You're thinking that flat Earth is this. This is not flat Earth. This is what they want you to think. It is Google flat Earth in space, and this will come up. Number one.
Right.
They want you to think that the Earth is a disk in space with an ice ball and a waterfalls, and it's so stupid. Nobody thinks that. Nobody thinks that we're a flat disk or all the other planets are flat disks. This is a fake flat Earth model in a fake heliocentric model. So it's A or B, fake or fake. Which one are you going to pick?
Right.
They give you a double false binary, question and answer.
Right.
What are you going to pick? Republican or Democrat? Which one's going to save us this time?
Right. Yeah. Same trap.
Yeah.
And see, and that's why I said that I'm leaning at least towards a bowl, man.
Stop saying you're leaning. You're 100% a flat earther. You're just too much of a chicken. Tell your best friends, your significant others, or kids if you have them. You're afraid of being ostracized. It's okay. Listen.
Look at it. If we're down here in this little bowl and we're looking up at other bowls, they would look round, right? But they're just flat on the top and they're rounded off.
Who's saying that?
That's my thought.
Well, here's the thing. Everything looks like a sphere in the distance. Everything looks like a sphere in the distance. Let me show you. So this is my, whoops. What is that going on there? So this is my sky sheet, right? So I got a sheet, and on the other side of it, 10 feet away, I got a flashlight that has a square lens. But look at it. It looks round. Yeah. Now, Paige is over here. I'm over here, and I move over to Paige's point of view. I said, where do you see the sun? And she goes, I see it right there. It looks like a sun, doesn't it? If I put a little X on the sheet, it would be over there. I'm looking at it right there while she's looking at it here at the same time. Are we looking at something physical, or are we looking at something non-physical? We're looking at the projected source of the sun inside our personal atmospheric dome. That's why people are like, well, if you triangulate the sun, you can't triangulate the sun because two people in two different positions see the sun in a different position.
Right.
Like a rainbow.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah.
So, and the other thing I wanted to say was what were we talking about? We were talking about so is this the sun or the moon? We're looking down this long path and we see, is that the sun or the moon?
That's the moon.
Okay, so what I gave you was a false binary, right? We're in class and I gave you a false binary. It's not. It's a friggin' train, and we're not even circular. Look at the lights. They're rectangular and different colors, but you saw the sun or the moon because I suggested it. If I had a bow tie on and a lab coat, you would have been like, oh, that guy, I'm not even going to ever question him. He's got a lab coat on and a pocket protector with pencils in it. Okay? Does that look spherical? Kind of does. Now, do I think the moon is spherical? I do. I really do. But I think it's not what we think it is. I don't think the moon that we see is physical. Can't prove it. I don't think it's terra firma. And when you look at it, it's from the ground. It's not far above the clouds. From an airplane, it is far above the clouds because as you move, it moves. And the same thing with the sun. Like that balloon at 127,000 feet. I don't think people on the ground see the sun that high. I think they see it even closer. I really do. Like, forget everything you've been told. You know nothing about anything, and go out on a day where there's some cumulus clouds and the sun is out, and ask yourself how far away that thing is. I think it could be single digit miles. All right. I don't know, but it's not 93 million miles away.
Right.
It's so stupid. The moon is 250,000 miles away, but we can see it during the day sky every month for over a week. You can see the moon in the blue sky. How is that? How can you see the moon in the blue sky, but not planets and stars? How come they're not popping through the blue sky?
Right.
But the moon, the dusty, dirty ball reflecting sunlight, which is dimmer, it's stupid. That's all I gotta say. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Let me ask a question. One more thing.
All right, we're done with his questions. Now we're going to go on.
One more thing for you.
Okay.
Which table is wider and which table is shorter?
Okay, I would say the wider table would be the one on. Nope. I said the other one. Yeah, I say it's wider if you
wider this way or this way.
That way. Yeah.
Okay, and then so again, what I give you? I gave you a false binary. Both of them are exactly the same dimensions. Watch. Okay.
Yep.
Did that one's that dimension? Perfect. And that dimension. Now that I showed you, can you see the difference? The answer is no, you can't.
Wow. That's good too. That's a good one.
So unless you can touch it and measure it, you can't say anything about it.
Right.
How tall is that chair?
18 inches.
18 inches. What's it made out of?
Wood.
Yeah. What if I told you it's not even a chair? It's just a shadow.
Wow.
Just on the floor.
Yeah. That's pretty
again. And I don't care if the moon is a sphere.
Right.
Okay. Because the lights I'm looking at on my ceiling are spheres. All right.
So that tells us not to trust our eyes, right? That's what.
No. You listen, your eyes give you lots of information, but you can't make a positive claim. And also, even if you're right, the shape of the moon is a sphere. Let's assume it's a sphere. What the heck does that have to do with the ground that we stand upon?
Right. Nothing.
Well, they want you to believe, well, men walked on it, therefore, there's a correlation there. That's what the whole moon landing was about, to make you think you can walk and live on a ball. That's what it was all about.
Wow. Yeah. You see, I didn't even get that. I thought the moon landing was just to bankrupt Russia. Maybe it was a two birds with one stone kind of thing.
I believe that also. No, the whole Russian space race was all fake. So that means Project Paperclip was also fake, where they brought over the Nazi, rocket scientists. We didn't have rocket scientists. So what the heck's going on there?
Right.
All right, go ahead.
All right. I got one of these same kind of questions, and then I want to go into a couple of topics real quick. I know you're limited on time, and I was a few minutes late, so I apologize for that. Okay, my question is, and I might get, I don't know, move on, but my question is, what are stars, Dave?
What I say about lights in the sky? When I say lights in the sky, the sun, the moon, the stars.
Yep.
The only thing you can say about the lights in the sky, other than the ones that like an airplane, because you can, it's got a transponder, you see it, you basically know what it is. The only thing you can say about them is that they're lights in the sky. We don't know what they are. Personally, my personal opinion is that the stars are angelic in nature, and maybe that's where our eternal soul lives. I'm not saying that for anybody else. I'm saying it for me. That's kind of where I'm leaning, where, we are in this electrical, amazing realm, and we are eternal souls. And maybe when we're not inhabiting these meat suits, we're in the stars. Neil deGrasse Tyson says we're made from stardust. We come from the stars.
Well, see, I kind of lean that way too, with stars being part of the heavenly host of some sort. I don't know what they are, but I don't think that they're balls of gas, because there's no, I I don't think
How does
fire can
gas
exist, right?
gas violently fills the available space everywhere except in outer space where gas collapses and creates suns and stars.
Right. It don't make any sense at all to me.
Think about this. Our sun burns, I think it's 640 billion tons of fuel. It's either every hour or every minute or every second or something like that. It's a ridiculous amount. Let's just say it's 640 billion tons a day for billions of years, but none of its gravity ever changes. Where did all that come from? How did all of that gas decide to collapse upon itself and be adjacent to a void? The fundamentals of physics show you that's impossible. So why are we talking about stars in space?
Right.
People are like, well, the stars, celestial navigation, and you can't see Polaris from the south. And what is Polaris? We can prove that it's not what they tell us. And then falsification is independent of replacement. If I said you were accused of stealing the last cookie out of the cookie jar, right? And they're gonna chop your hand off for this. But then I can prove that you were actually at the mall at that time. The accuser can't come to me and say, well, then who did it? I don't know, but I proved it wasn't him.
Right.
Okay. I can prove that Polaris, that stars are not what they tell us. What are they? Got me, man.
Yep. I love
this. This one is Arcturus, and you can see this with your naked eye. It's amazing. What is it? I don't know, man.
I don't know.
But I like it.
Yeah, it's awful pretty. All
Very
right.
pretty.
Now I got just a couple more questions. And for me, I feel like I know what the answer is just from the naked eye. But why are we seeing SpaceX fail so much lately? Why does it look like it's slamming into like this invisible wall? Is it the firmament? Is that what's going on with SpaceX, or is it just a money laundering scheme for somebody too, or what's going on here?
I think it's all just about controlling the human mind with nonsense and hiding God and hiding everything else. And I think that last one was done on purpose to get all the flat earthers talking, to get everybody freaking out and firmament, because I think they know that the flat earth, the globe is dead, and they're trying to normalize it. And they did it. Think about this. President Kennedy was assassinated, and they got it to the point where they could admit the CIA did it, but nobody's calling for the disbandment of the CIA or anyone to be punished. Nobody cares because they normalized it over a certain amount of time. So I think they're just normalizing it. What was the exact question again? I spaced out. What was the question?
Yeah, man. The failure is these SpaceX launches.
Oh, yeah. SpaceX. So that one, if you watch it, go watch it again. That thing was not even as high as the clouds when it exploded.
Right.
So you're telling me it's hitting the firmament? There's no way. That thing blew up and it looked like water. Maybe it was just gas, I've seen there was another rocket that blew up. It kind of looked the same a few years ago. And the whole rocket just looked like what happens when a balloon pops. There's nothing, no debris. It just popped and it was gone. And there was no debris, very tiny little debris, like some fabric. And I think that's all it is. And so, they want you, oohing and on at that and go, oh, they wouldn't blow it up if the rocket, if that was real, if it was fake, they wouldn't blow it up. Absolutely, they blow it up. Now watch this. Here's a SpaceX rocket landing. Look at these people. Watch this guy too. It's going to explode. Nothing, not a flinch. Nobody flinched. And if you really look at them, they're not even looking in the right place.
Right.
Not a flinch. Are you kidding me? This thing coming down, everyone would be like, whoa, there'd be no stopping. Not a flinch. So they're watching something, but this is all edited in after the fact. They want you to believe that people are this close to rocket launches. They're not. They're much farther. That looks like just a couple of miles. They're like over a dozen miles away.
Right.
And this is a trick. I don't even think they're seeing this. I think they were looking at something else, and this is all just edited in there. And then they did a hologram, whatever, of Project Bluebeam and an explosion. But all of this is fake.
Right.
There's no way. If it landed, there's no way that this is real. I mean, anybody, if you can't see that, I can't help you. I know that you can see it.
Yeah, they'd feel that. You know, I mean, that's close enough to. Yeah, that would shake their chest. And that gets to all the other stuff that's fake. Like every time you watch the SpaceX stuff, and all you get are computer images, you know. And then they try to show this live stream. I watched one when they launched the Dragon or whatever. I stood in my living room and watched that mouse run out on the blast track. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I don't know. The first one might have been a mouse, and then they started doing other stuff to cover for it. And they said it was frozen oxygen and a whole bunch of stuff. They're always covering themselves. This, Elon Musk tweeted, "Still hard to believe Starship is real."
Yep.
They're always telling you, yeah, it is hard to believe it's real because it's not real. You know, you can tell it's real because it looks so fake. And then Michael Strahan, when he went up, he says it was unreal. That's what his quote was. It was unreal. They're telling unreal because it wasn't real.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Now I'm going to give you a softball.
Those were all softballs.
Oh, okay. And this is one that, you know, you can look at it like you're talking to my audience, who is going to be probably a 50-50 split on this. Honestly, a lot of my audience are Christians, you know, so they can believe a biblical perspective. A lot of them are going to be like my brother-in-law here. What is the whole point of them covering this up? What would happen if the world found out that the earth is level, if it's flat?
They would lose control of society. It's not the shape that matters. It's the lie. It's where we stand within the flat earth. They're hiding God. They're hiding more resources. They're probably hiding more land. They're hiding your true divinity. So you're born into the natural. Ouch! You're born. I bit my tongue. You're born into the natural world, and and you have dominion. Every human is given equal dominion over the earth by God. Right? So you're in this natural system, right? They want to control you, but they can't change nature. They can take it and they could try to create from it their own thing. So they did. They created a fake world. And with everything in it, if you play on their fake world, their fake game board, if you will, with their fake money, their control system, you have to abide by their rules. So, you know, they've commoditized you. You know, all of the United States is a corporation. All these corporations, they're trading your certificate, your stock certificate, your birth certificate on the stock market. You're just a commodity to them, and they're trading human energy. So when you unplug from the system, when you wake up to the fact that we're not on this fake globe, this satanic globe, you start to realize that you actually have control over your life, that nobody controls you, right? It's supposed to be God, man, then maybe government, right? But government's trying to get above God, trying to eliminate God. They're already above all of the people that fall for their nonsense. And, when you wake up to flat earth, you wake up to all of the nonsense. Right?
Yeah.
They're hiding free energy. That's proven, right? They're hiding the creator. They're hiding your spirituality. They're hiding more land. I believe that true-heartedly. And people are like, what do you mean they're hiding more land? What's beyond Antarctica? What's in the Southern Ocean? What's near Japan? They found 7,000 new islands this year. 7,000 new islands near Japan that no one has ever seen before. Did you know that?
Yeah, I heard something about that.
Yeah. So people think that, we're going to go to Mars, we're going to colonize Mars and have a base on the moon, and get the hell out of here. We already have air and water and everything we need here. If you want to colonize something, go to Ethiopia and build some domes there, because you're going to have to build domes on Mars. It'll cost you a fraction of a penny to the $1 million, per. It's so stupid. And because you already have the air here, you can breathe. You don't need to worry about it. You have water. It's the whole system is to make you powerless, make you rely on their world. And this world they don't want you to know that you have great power. We are incredibly powerful spiritual beings, and that our thoughts create our reality. And that's why they're having all of this, in my opinion, they're having all of this, these movies. Have you watched Leave the World Behind by the Obamas?
Yes, I watched
They're
that.
the executive producer. Yeah, and if you decode it, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff in there, but they want us manifesting that for them. When they wanted to start all these wars in the Middle East, and they couldn't do it until we all pounded the war drums. So they faked 9/11, and then everyone pounded the war drums. I'm like, why couldn't they just go start the war themselves? They have the keys to all the jet fighters and all the tanks and everything, but they need us to create their reality. And they know the karmic law of this world. I really don't think that, they kill people. They convince other people to kill other people. And it's all about depopulation. They don't want our numbers getting back to where I think they used to be. I think maybe in the late 1700s, 1800s, when the society was much more advanced than we are now, I bet there was 100 billion people here. But they want you to believe that, 8 billion, I think it's closer to 3 billion, is overpopulated when every family could have an acre in Australia, and most of Australia would be empty. Right. So, and the rest of the world would be empty. So this whole thing, it's all about, feeling isolated from the creator, feeling we're running out of everything. They want you to believe that when you exhale, you should be taxed because you're putting carbon in the air, which gives life to everything else, where all the trees and everything. They want you afraid of nuclear bombs. They want you living scared, so you'll give up their energy and then do what they want. They want you watching their Hollywood spells. Hollywood is what they make magic wands out of, Hollywood from the holly tree. And they're casting spells, and people that are just falling into this are creating this reality. I think, though, over the next year or two, world's going to split. I don't mean that it's going to split, but there's going to be different timelines of people. There's going to be people that aren't buying it, and they're going to manifest with their own society, if you will. And then there's going to be all the people that are trapped in the smart cities, that are going for the convenient comforts and their little slave job, and just having their little lives, when the truth is, this world is way more. Think about this. You have a job, right? I assume.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And what if you didn't have to pay for electricity for your home, fuel for your car, or heat for your home? All of that was free, and you can have as much of it as you wanted to do whatever you wanted with. Would that change your life?
It would change my life.
Damn right it would. You wouldn't even, you would be able to I'm going to be a gardener for the next couple of years, and I'm going to grow food, and I'm going to trade with my neighbors, and, and you're just going to have, you could actually do that. But in this world, they need to control you. So they control us with money and power, food, power, gas and oil and electricity. And they control us with that, but they're hiding free energy. And that is a fact, as I said earlier. And they don't want us to have that. Nikola Tesla or whoever it was at the World's Fairs was firing them up with free energy. Right here in Long Island, they had the Ward Tower that was pulling energy out of the ground. And they're like, JP Morgan's like, wait a minute, you're transmitting free energy. How do you bill for it? And it's like, well, you can't. And that's when they, took Tesla out. So right. How would it change your life? Everything would change. But here's the thing. There's people that they got a job, they got a good paycheck, they work. You can work your whole life away, and you have just the weekends to watch sports, drink alcohol, and go back to work. And then when you're old, you can go lay on the beach for a couple of years before they kill you with cancer or whatever else. So that's not living. That is surviving. I'm living.
Yeah, that's great. That's the best answer I could have ever hoped for on that one. Because like this picture said, is to take your pick. There's a million reasons why they would cover this up. And
there's a million. It's to hide the creator, because if you discover that the world is created and then you figure out your position in it, you no longer wait a minute, government. We don't need to take down the government. If we all just ignored the government, they'd be powerless. They'd be nothing.
Right.
No, what are they going to do? What's Joe Biden going to come up? Go, you do this? It's like, get out of here, get out of here, old man.
Right.
Right? No one's going to listen to anything.
Uh,
So
That's,
again,
that's almost like the Jesus approach, right? He's like, if it belongs to Caesar, give it to Caesar. Don't worry about that. Just stay focused on the Creator.
yeah,
Uh,
it's literally about keeping you scared and powerless and working in this matrix. Literally, the matrix is a documentary of what's really going on in this world. They're stealing our energy, our spiritual energy, and if you don't believe it, that's fine. It's true, and you're going to lose because you're not paying attention, because you've been indoctrinated into this physical world reality belief, when the truth is it's there's far more than that, far more.
okay. I would say I have one last question. It might your answer might prompt me to another question, or you might have something else you want to talk about completely, and I'm totally down for that, man. I love you. I think you should talk about whatever you want to talk about. But I do have one more question because, like you, I believe in a creator. I believe in God. Um, how would you convince, if that's even the word to look for,
Wow.
somebody that's an atheist that the world, that the Earth is flat? Because if they're good, or if they're already denying a creator, and they're just sold out.
I denied the creator. I didn't. I think there was a creator. I believed in all the machine and everything. And then when I looked into the reality of the world, there is no curvature. You can't have high pressure next to low pressure without a physical barrier. The idea of gassy stars in a vacuum. When I looked at all that stuff, I'm like, wow, that is all nonsense. So then I realized they're lying about the moon landing, and they're lying about space, and they're lying about other planets. And then I looked at what this place really was, and I was like, it's intelligently designed. Therefore, I can no longer doubt. I have no option to doubt there's a creator. Now, you could lose your faith in one day in God. You could lose your faith, but you can't lose faith in that there's a creator now that you know the earth is flat. Now that you know the earth is intelligently designed. So they don't want you in a situation where you can't deny the creator. There's a verse, Job, Matt keeps telling me, I keep forgetting, that says, once you see my creation, the earth, you can no longer deny my existence. That's a fact. Once you walk up upon a tall building, you know that there was a builder, because it didn't come together by random chaos. This world is intelligently designed. Therefore, there's a creator. So that gives you a rock solid connection. So it's actually easier to have rock solid faith. There's a lot of people, their faith is waning. Oh, I don't know. And then they go to university and they speak to people like Dawkins, whatever, and these guys are just atheist monsters, and they're literally trying to hide the creator from you with all sorts of nonsense. So, those are the people that are running the world, and but they're not running my world.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. I love it. I love it. Well, you you rapid fire killed everything that I had on here. It's like you've done this before. I don't know.
Bo,
Yes.
you and I know that that the earth is not a spinning ball in space.
It is not a spinning ball in space.
There is 0% chance, right?
Right.
So if somebody comes up to you, you're at a party, and they're like, hey, you ever hear about this flat earth thing? I saw a video, I saw this flat earth Dave guy, I think it's crazy. What are you going to say? Are you going to say, you're going to go and get yourself another beer? Or are you going to speak up? Are you going to say, I looked into it and it's not a ball. You're right. For those of you listening, that are on the fence, I'm offering 3 Bitcoins. I think that's $150,000 today. 3 Bitcoins for 1 proof of the globe. You live on a physical ball, there should be some proof. Got it?
And I will agree with you that the world is not a spinning ball. Not a chance. Not a chance.
Let me show you a new feature on the app here. Hopefully it works. on the app, you got the search button now.
Yeah.
So what is the name of your podcast?
The Bump Podcast.
Bump. So I'm going to search for The Bump because I wouldn't even know where to find your show. And there's our last show right there.
Wow.
There it is.
That's sweet. Yeah.
So YouTube has made it so you search for Flat Earth, anything, you're not going to find anything good. But I made a new algorithm that finds all of the good.
I love it. Now,
How about that?
do they just go to the App Store on Apple, or what? How do they
Go
find
to
this?
flatearthdave.com, and then there's a link there. It's the easiest way because there's already knockoffs there that are horrible. If you happen to buy them, make sure you leave them a proper review first. But my app is $3, and there is a subscription for the higher functions. You don't need it, but you'll probably want it because of the social media aspect is becoming really, really a big thing. And you can build profiles now. You can friend people. Soon you're going to be able to play games with them. You can do video calls. You can join groups. You can do all sorts of stuff. But since you were on last, I think we've doubled the amount of blue dots. We take a look. You're in Virginia?
West Virginia.
West Virginia?
Man. Come on.
Yeah. There you go.
Uh-oh.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's sweet, man.
Flat Earth is not dying. Flat Earth is crushing.
Well, why do you think that is? Why do you think Flat Earth is growing?
The truth will set you free. Here's the thing. When you discover that the earth isn't a ball, that you're meaningful, that you're at the center of creation, that you have great power, it is something you can never get out of your mind. Every single day while you're sleeping, as soon as your feet hit the floor and before, you're thinking about it because you now have a cheat code. You're now out of the matrix and you see how this world works. And you just can get better and better at it. But it's truly amazing. You know, and it's it's a subject that nobody drops. Once you see it, you don't forget it. Like you could have a hobby and after a while you're like, I'm tired of that. I used to love fishing. I don't fish anymore, whatever. Flat Earth never leaves you, never, because the rabbit hole is so deep. There's so much information out there. And for those that you want to learn more on the app, if you go to the homeschool button right there, homeschool, one that has a little home and a desk. There's all sorts of stuff, all old world stuff on the top right here. Amazing. My lunch break. Watch those 20-minute video every week, because somewhere around 20 minutes. Amazing. And then Jake, I'm the Improbable Dreamer, all sorts of stuff. Crow 777 Radio. This is better than any college education. And most of it's free. Some of it's $8 a month, but it's don't send your kids to college. Don't send them here, and they'll be more useful in society. So there you go.
Man, there it is. Dave.
Yeah, flatearthdave.com.
Flatearthdave.com. I'm going there as soon as we get off here, and I'm going to get this app because I'll say it, Dave. I think the Earth's flat.
Yeah, no, of course you do. You know it's flat. Hey, you have an Android phone?
No, I got Apple.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. Death to all Android users.
Oh man. All right. Well, is there anything else you wanted to cover before we hop off here? I think
I'm going to be speaking at Acapulco in Mexico. So if you're looking for a winter vacation, you want to go someplace cool, you want to advance your mind, the Acapulco conference in Acapulco, February 10th to 16th or somewhere in there. It's the biggest truth conference in the world, I think. And it's just an amazing place, amazing people, and you'll have the time of your life. Come alone, come with your significant other, come with your family. It's a really, you'll learn about health freedom. You'll learn about flat earth. You'll learn about freedom. You'll learn all sorts of stuff, and you'll meet amazing people. So you can find that link on my website, flatearthdave.com. If you have a show and you want to book me, go to my website, contact Dave. Everything's at flatearthdave.com. All my YouTube channels, subscribe to my DITRH. If you forget, DITRH stands for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. Just go to flatearthdave.com. The links are there.
Awesome.
All right.
brother, I appreciate you coming on the show. And I appreciate you sending the Zoom link because I couldn't figure out what I was doing in the moment that I booked it.
No worries.
I appreciate you, brother.
All right. Good luck with your brother-in-law.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks. God bless.
See ya. Bye-bye.